Thanks for checking out this horror debate series video. So if you don't know how this works, you're going to go ahead and get my pick for the most heartbreaking death in a horror movie. Then you're going to go watch your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete's video of the same name. His channel's linked in my description. Then if you want to, you can vote on who you think had the best argument or the best pick or whatever your criteria is. If you go to my community tab after that and vote, and there is an option for a tie as well. So, because a lot of times people want the tie option because they'll comment and say, hey, it's very tough to make this decision. And on that note, if you also want to comment, you can comment on my video, comment on his video. That'd be great. Also, do us a favor of hitting the like on all our videos. Subscribe to our channels if you haven't already to support us, and hit the notification bell button to know when we're putting up videos. But all that set aside, I'm going to let you know my pick for the most heartbreaking death in a horror movie. And I think a lot of people will kind of agree with me on this one when I say Seok-woo from Train to Busan, the father character, main character in the film. And I'm going to be honest, like, I just rewatched that portion of the movie before doing this video, and I just cried. Like, I broke down and cried because it's so well executed, and it makes you feel so sad and so upset, and you don't want to. And that's the hallmark of a wonderful filmmaker, done by Yeon Sang-ho. Does such a phenomenal job with the film in general, but that particular scene, and it's the hallmark of an amazing filmmaker if they can make you feel something you don't want to feel. And people don't want to be sad. They don't want to be upset for the most part. I mean, maybe there are some people out there. There's always exceptions to the rule. But when you're watching a movie, especially when you get to the point in this film where things go wrong for Seok-woo, you want a happy ending. You want things to work out because of the ordeal that they've been through. And when it doesn't happen, it's just such a horrible gut punch. And it's so heartbreaking, for lack of a better term. And that's why it's called this for the video. So let me go over my points with it. You get lulled into a false sense that there will be a happy ending. Yeah, it's literally Seok-woo and the woman he's with and his daughter get away from the horde of zombies. They jump onto this locomotive, and they have like just this silence and this calm after that moment. And you are kind of lulled into this feeling like it's over. They're getting away. Like, this is it. They made it through this horrible, long ordeal, and they're going to get away to safety. And then you realize that the conductor is in the process of turning, and Seok-woo also realizes that, and then there's that whole scuffle that goes on, and he ends up getting bitten because he's trying to keep that conductor from getting to his daughter and the other woman. And just the realization, like, everyone knows when the scuffle's happening, when you see him getting bitten, everyone knows what that means, but it doesn't really kick in, and the emotions don't really kick in until the aftermath of that, after they've gotten rid of that zombified conductor. And everything's starting to hit everyone, the audience, but also the characters. And Seok-woo needs to make sure that the train, the locomotive, is going to continue to go. And then he's having this emotional exchange with his daughter, and then all the feelings that he's feeling. And it's heartbreaking. And you go from having that feeling, like I was saying, that things are going to be fine. Everything looks so good now. There's this calm after this horrible ordeal. And then you realize that's not where we're going. And it's just so heartbreaking. My next point is, it's shot in such an effective and emotional way with very well used slow motion and an emotional score. That's the other thing. There are a lot of things that go into it. It's not just the acting. The acting is top notch in this. But it's not just the acting of that scene. It has to do with the music that's used in it. It's so hopeful yet also sad at the same time, because those are the emotions that Seok-woo is feeling. Because you have to remember that throughout the whole film, he's trying to be more of a father to his daughter. He's trying to be a better father. He's trying to have a better connection with her. And through the ordeal they go through, he feels like he accomplished, making their relationship a lot better, really connecting with her, but also protecting her, which is ultimately what parents want to do for their children. And it's just the emotions of what he goes through in those moments are mirrored so well with the score, and also the use of slow motion in that moment is very impactful, especially when they do the portion where they show the silhouette of the locomotive and him standing there, and how he starts falling off of it because he's throwing himself off the locomotive in order to make sure that he doesn't turn on there and then go after them. He wants to make sure that they are definitely saved. After not being a great father, he works so hard and finally gets there just to have his life cut short. Yeah, that's the big thing, is they do such a good job of writing his character and making everyone focus on him and the ordeal that he's going through. And you're rooting for him. You are so invested in where he's headed and the relationship that is forged with his daughter, and you feel his triumph at the end when they get away, and you're just like, yeah, here we go. Like the being lulled into a false sense of good things happening. And it's all calm, and you're just like, yeah, he made it, and now he's a great father, and like he protected her, and they're so much closer now. But then it just gets all torn apart, which makes it so heartbreaking. The emotional breakdown of his daughter and how she tries to hold on to him just cuts through you in that scene. Her crying, you feel her mixture of just like sadness and anger at the situation to have gotten that far, and just knowing that she's about to lose her father, who she just forged this great relationship with. And that, I mean, it's not all the only person she has, because she has the other woman with her, but it's her family, you know, that's the family that she has. And it's just, the acting by that girl is so good, and the way that they focus so much on her reaction, it, like I said, it cuts through you. Like, you can't help but feel that emotion she's feeling, and just hear how she's acting, and just feeling terrible about that, and just feeling all the emotions that she's feeling at that time. Also, the performance of Gong Hu, who played Seok Woo, really sells the feel of sadness mixed with acceptance and content at the end, as this character knows that he got his daughter to safety, and he proved himself as a good parent in the end. And you see that in his facial expressions, the acting that he's doing. When they're playing, when they're doing the slow motion, when they're doing that great emotional score, he's there, and he's like looking down, and he's thinking, he's having this flashback of when she was born and holding her as a baby, and just all these wonderful emotional things that feel good. And you see that on his face. You see him starting to smile, but then you also see him getting sad about it. And then as he picks his head up and his eyes open up, and you see that he is almost turned, because he has the opaque look in his irises. And that's when it changes, and it goes from him having these emotions to then not having emotions because he's turning, and then that's when he falls off. And so the acting of it is so well done, and it's very key in that moment to really sell that as a particularly heartbreaking scene. And the last thing I wanted to say about it is the loss of family, especially a child losing a parent or a parent losing a child, has been proven to be extremely effective in film for pulling at people's heartstrings. I mean, one thing that pretty much everyone has is connection with another human being, and it's usually strongest when it's a child and parent. So those are the ones that will typically drive the most heartache and the most strong reactions from viewers. And I'm more immune to it because I don't have children myself, although, you know, I have parents, so like I feel that one. But the situation he's in of like being a parent and then, you know, getting to the point of, you know, he's going to die, but he did something great for his daughter. Like, I don't feel that. I can't feel that specifically because I don't have any children. But so I'm just basically saying that, like, for as much as it hits me and as much as it affects me, it can easily affect other people even more because they have the experience of having their own children. So, and knowing what that connection truly is like. So, yeah, it's a proven thing, you know, like we all lose people in life. And I think that's one of the other things that this film ends up doing is it, or at least for me, it does. It makes you start to think about either emotions you've already had when you have lost someone you've loved, or emotions you're going to have when you do lose someone you love, or both of those. If you've lost someone you love and you know you will lose someone you love. So this scene in particular just really brings out the horrible emotions that you really don't want to feel, but it's such a great piece of cinema, and I think it needs to be applauded for that, because like I said in the beginning, the hallmark of a wonderful filmmaker is them being able to make you feel something that you just don't want to feel. And you never really want to feel sad. You don't want to sit there and cry. Although I will be honest that I do feel like sometimes crying actually does cleanse me a little bit and does kind of like release stress and anger and depression and whatever. So in those instances, like, it is kind of good, but yeah, it feels so real when you watch this movie. It feels so real. But anyway, that's my argument for the most heartbreaking death in a horror movie. Oh, and I know I should throw this in there, though. I know some people will say, well, technically he didn't die, he just turned into a zombie. But that is a human death. Like, he's no longer a human, so that is a death. And that's especially a death to the humans left behind, most importantly his daughter. So I will make that distinction. But again, thank you for watching these videos. We really appreciate it. Comments are always appreciated. Subscribing to both of our channels are appreciated. Doing the thumbs up on the videos is appreciated. All that stuff. And you are just appreciated as an audience, because we probably wouldn't be doing this if people weren't watching it. Although when I started, people weren't watching it, but I was doing it anyway, so I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep it brutal.